In December 1997, Suzhou Classic Gardens, exemplified by the Humble Administrator's Garden, Lingering Garden, Master of Nets Garden, and Mountain Villa with Embracing Beauty, were inscribed by UNESCO on the World Heritage List. In November 2000, as a supplement of Suzhou Classic Gardens, Canglang Pavilion, Lion Grove Garden, the Lion Forest Garden, the Garden of Cultivation, the Couples Garden Retreat, and the Retreat and the Meditation Garden were also inducted on the World Heritage List. The 21st session of UNESCO World Heritage Committee agreed that the classical gardens of Suzhou are masterpieces of Chinese landscape garden design in which art, nature, and ideas are integrated perfectly to create ensembles of great beauty and peaceful harmony. These gardens, built in the 16th to the 18th century, reflect the profound art of coming from but moving beyond nature in Chinese culture. Canglang Pavilion is the most ancient garden in Suzhou. It was built by a senior official called Su Shunqing in the 9th century. In the year 1044, because of involvement in the political turmoil, he was demoted and sent to Suzhou, where he bought a plot of land adjacent to water, on which he had a private garden built and named it Canglang, an expression coming from ancient classic works that refers to a detached life in peace with nature. Canglang Pavilion, built by Su Shunqing, features lush pine trees, grasses, and pleasant views reflected in water pools. Not even 2 leak windows out of the 108 resemble each other, and door openings take various shape as if casually chosen. The ingenuity of plain space is simply intriguing. In contrast to life serving the imperial court, when Su has to follow rules to the letter and toe the line, even with such simple gesture as walking and talking, he could afford freedom of expression in the design and construction of the garden and along the corridors. This exquisite and beautiful garden finally emancipated him from tyrant power struggles, as it freed him from earthly suppression. The importance of Suzhou Gardens as one of the World Heritage is in its understanding and practice of the relationship between man and nature from the perspective of Chinese culture. The Humble Administrator's Garden is the largest garden in Suzhou. Once you step into this garden, what greets you look familiar, but you cannot tell where and when. You are aware of being in the hustling downtown, yet you feel as if part of a woods. This is exactly what the creator of this garden intended to achieve, modeling after but rivaling nature. The river was so long as if it were flowing beyond the heaven and earth. Ranges of hills in distance were looming in a veil of mist. This is a famous poem line from Wang Wei, a renowned poet in the Tang Dynasty. Landscape poems are similar to landscape painting, as they seek similarity in spirit rather than in shape. They do not just describe but attempt to express feelings, leaving room for human perception and appreciation. Landscape painting is also related to Suzhou Gardens. Sceneries in these gardens, such as a glimpse of green hills, a pool of emerald water, Flowers nestled in verdant leaves and shaded pavilions can easily pass for freehand paintings on paper. Water pools that take up 1/5 of the garden area create many pleasant views. Houses, chambers, and pavilions built along the water area recreate scenes reminiscent of the scenery in the south of the lower Yangtze River. 16 bridges, straight or curved, connect all the high spots in the garden and enable visitors to enjoy them all in a matter of minutes. Main architecture in the humble administrator's garden, such as Yuanxiang Tang, Hefeng Simian, and Liu Tengge, is invariably related to enjoyment of lotus flowers. Being a water plant, lotus flowers are lauded by men of letters as having refreshing smell and perceived by philosophers as staying clean even when grown in dirt. As a symbol of integrity, lotus flowers constitute a unique scene in this garden. Ancient people believe garden buildings is like poem or article writing. Plain and straight description is not encouraged, but twists and turns are preferred. Similarly, in the lingering garden, the small vestibules, half-hidden corridors, and narrow courtyards make visitors unable to help but to wonder what is behind them. At the most exquisite garden in Suzhou, the lingering garden is a perfect expression of the profound and delicate space art of gardens. What you can see from the windows are cheerful hills, clear pool, exuberant flowers, lush trees, and pavilions. Seen from different directions, it may be rustic look of hills and lakes. It may be hustling and bustling houses and chambers, or it may be tranquil water flowing down a small bridge. Seen from here, it is also wonderful. Landscape paintings are composed by doors and windows. Such design is quite common in Suzhou gardens. This is called framed scenery. Another interesting thing is the change of the scene with the movement of the visitors. In April 2000, Kunqu Opera was inscribed as an oral and intangible cultural heritage of humanity. This 600-year-old opera art is born in Kunshan, not far from Suzhou. The prosperity of this art is also closely associated with Suzhou garden art. Shuimo tone in Kunqu opera is refined and elegant. Similarly, in Suzhou gardens, people see contrasting styles, hidden and exposed, high and low, movement and stillness. That is why Suzhou gardens are compared to three-dimensional paintings, shaped poems, and still music. Stones are common materials for construction and sculpture in many countries, but in China, they are a piece of art in themselves and used widely in the building of gardens. This Taihu Lake stone, named Guangyunfeng, is 9 meters tall and stands with grace and dignity. Coming from Xishan Hill in Taihu Lake, Taihu stones, a kind of limestone, are shaped into fascinating holes thanks to years of water rushing and flowing. These magic stones, gifts from nature, fire your imagination with these streamline shape, distinctive concave and convex, and time-honored limes. In Suzhou garden art, special attention is given in rock work as it emphasizes passing man-made rock for natural ones, with either soil or rock. Garden creators, like painters, must also observe nature closely and obtain the essence of the latter before they can achieve heavenly-made artificial creation. Taking up 1/5 of the garden area, this rock work in the Lion Grove Garden is the largest existing rockery in China. The artificial hill is constructed in 3 layers, with 9 paths winding their way in between, creating a complex labyrinth with easy access but different exit. "11 caves half hidden in this rock work simply make the whole labyrinth more confusing." During Emperor Qianlong of the Qing Dynasty's 6 tours in the south of the lower Yangtze River, the Lion Grove Garden was one inevitable stop of the whole trip. Not only did he dedicate poems and paintings, but also he had them transplanted in royal gardens. A good example is lion groves in the Beijing Summer Palace and Chengde Mountain Resort, with the former destroyed by a war fire and the latter remain a special scene till now. Suzhou embroidery is one of the most famous embroidery arts in China. Embroiders can fold a hair-thin silk thread dozens of times. Landscape created with tens of thousands of different colors and fine stitches is true to life. While marveling at the unbelievably deft hands of those embroidery ladies, one could not help admiring Suzhou people's great attention to details. It is just this special quality that made Suzhou Gardens possible and gives birth to this most delicate rockery. The credit of Mountain Villa, with embracing beauty chosen as a World Heritage Site, should go to this rockwork. Careful observation tells you rockwork in the Lion Grove Garden is supported by huge band stones, while the rockery in Mountain Villa with embracing beauty is pieced together, connected or embedded with hand-picked Taihu Lake rocks according to the size, shape, and patterns. The strength and beauty of these works is a true rival imitation of natural creation. Like those deft embroidery ladies who recreate nature with thousands of stitches of color-changing silk threads, garden creators represented the artificial hill in a way as if it were of Mother Nature's job. Suzhou Gardens, as private property, are also connected to residences. Architectures in these gardens serve both as part of landscape and places where owners live, meet guests, read, and study. Among those famous gardens, Master of Nat's Garden stands out not only for its exquisiteness but also good conservation. The entrance door is not extravagant, and the status of the garden owner is indicated by the height of the door sill. The hall behind the entrance door is simple but elegant. Behind the hall, there is a sedan hall. In ancient times, people of high status would disembark here from a sedan chair until they are in this hall. Behind this hall, there is the main room where the host meets guests and major family events take place. Great attention is given to decoration in the main hall. In case of family activities, the hosts of the highest seniority would sit on the chairs facing south, while in case of meeting distinguished guests, the host would sit on the left side and the guest on the right side. The rest would sit on chairs placed on east and west side. The palace wooden armchairs are for people of the highest rank and are placed usually in the main hall. Behind the main room, there is a two-story building for the owner. The hall in the first floor is a place where family members get together and is called interior hall. Behind it, there is a study room. In the past, unmarried girls were not allowed to leave their residence at random, not even stepping beyond the interior hall, so they had to spend most of the time doing embroidery work in attics. Usually their boudoirs are located in the most concealed corner of the big house, connected with garden where romantic love stories may take place. Many ancient classic operas describe such stories about a beautiful girl meeting and falling in love with a talented young man in the garden. It is safe to say architecture in Suzhou Gardens is crystallization of classic architecture in the south of the lower Yangtze River, as expressed in elegantly curved roof, lofty roof edge, spacious and brightly illuminated walls, and delicately carved doors and windows. Verandas are built adjacent to water. Platforms are roofless structure where you can take bird's eye view. Pavilions are roofed wall-less pillared structures. A house on terrace serves as a scenery scene place. A main room can serve the purpose of entertainment and friend gathering. When divided by a screen or a mantel, the main room can serve dual purposes. One side for scenery viewing and performance watching, while the other side as bedroom for private talks. In this way, the space of the room is fully utilized without making you feel crowded. This arch in front of the main hall of Master of Nat's garden is famed as #1 arch. South of Yangtze River, stories from history and patterns of birds and other animals are presented on bricks, both decorative and expressive of good wishes. This kind of decoration graces almost every corner of Suzhou Gardens. Flower window is truly flowery here. Combination of various kinds of patterns such as broken eyes, willow leaves, cherry blossoms, and crabapple flowers make these windows rare artwork. Patterns are also found on courtyard floors, zigzag paths in flower bushes and woods. Only by visiting these gardens can one truly appreciate how refined life can be. Over the past several hundreds of years, owners of this garden lived many such poetic and leisurely nights. While eating earthly food and living an earthly life, they could also listen to ancient and celestial music with a breeze dancing through willow leaves, carrying lotus flower fragrance afar. Such harmony between man and nature A living environment that combines everyday life and art is still what we aspire and pursue even today. Renowned as the finest specimens of Suzhou gardens in the World Heritage List are another three small gardens. Its rockwork in the couple's garden retreat is the largest Yellowstone rockery in Suzhou Gardens. The Yellowstones are big, holeless, tall, and weathered. Usually they are used outside a soil hill to solidify or support the hill. But such a standalone Yellowstone hill is quite rare in Suzhou Gardens. Yangguangge in the Garden of Cultivation is the largest water pavilion in Suzhou Garden, and it is always a pleasure to enjoy goldfish swimming leisurely down below with a cup of fragrant tea in hand, with a warm breeze touching your cheek. Water-intimate buildings in the retreat and reflection gardens are also unique, as visitors would feel as if braving waves while standing on them. Without a guide, you may find it quite a challenge to locate the World Heritage Site hidden in this small alley. According to historical record, in the heyday, private gardens in Suzhou numbered more than 500. Until now, there are still some 100 such gardens left and hidden in small alleys. The 9 renovated gardens that appear in World Heritage List are the finest specimens. As the city of gardens, Suzhou is also a garden-style city. Modern high-rises and buildings have given this 2,000-year-old city an international and chic look. Yet at the end of some unknown valleys, those lovely gardens, restored or otherwise, are carefully preserved as precious human cultural heritage.